Last ran full-time in 1996, and ever since then, NASCAR fans everywhere have been yearning for a chance to watch racing here again. And tonight, we will bring it to you live, North Wilkesboro Speedway. Welcome in, everybody. Evolution Racing Network's coverage of the 3-Wide Racing eSports League. Alongside Michael Sheffield, I'm Steve Kerpel, and last week, we took to the road course of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, where we seen AJ DiMarzio come away with the victory there. And Michael, I want to turn things over to you. We're back turning just left tonight, but I don't really know if it's an easier track for these guys to handle, as this track, like it was in the 80s and 90s, is still very tough to run.
It is. It's a very tough track to run. There's going to be multiple grooves here tonight. It's going to be drivers trying to decide, what line they want to run in. Multiple drivers with multiple braking points. Tires are going to be a huge factor here tonight, and you're going to see probably some varying pit lane strategy if we get any long green runs here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had the opportunity to watch a couple of minutes of practice here. These guys are beating and banging, and this is what these guys are going to be looking at here tonight as we pull up our details for tonight's race. It's going to be running afternoon. This track does not have lighting. You're looking at just a hair over a half a mile, 78 degrees on your air temp, which is going to translate to about 105 on the track. Partly cloudy, so that track temp will probably climb up a little bit once they get racing on it, but it's not going to be too bad. It should be pretty ideal conditions here for the race today. But this track offers so many different challenges, Mike, because there's not really a flat part to this racetrack. I mean, you come down the front straightaway, you're actually going downhill. And when you make the turn through 1 and 2, then you start going uphill. I mean, this is a track that throws a wrench every way you turn.
Yeah, and you've got 3 degrees of banking on the straightaways alone, and then you throw 14 degrees in the turns. It's going to be a challenge, and it's you might see a couple drivers downshifting, maybe early in the run, maybe later in the run, just to get that truck brake down and try to get that drive off. Throttle points and braking points are going to be a huge factor, and fuel will not be a factor. I mean, a full tank tonight will get them about 150 laps.
Yeah, so we won't be talking about fuel strategy, but I could assure you that if we see some mid-race cautions, or some, especially towards the end, tires are going to be huge. I think we're definitely going to see some guys pit for tires, as these guys are going to flip on over to qualifying here. And we've seen Nick Rader, we've seen John Kaya, we've seen AJ DiMarzio kind of punch their name as forces that we think they're we know that they're going to be competing every which week, but this is a great chance for, some of these other guys to kind of stamp their name in the win column.
Yeah, you may see a name we haven't seen, really a whole lot out front up here tonight. I mean, this series is great for, just the first 4 races. You talk about a complete mix-up of different types of tracks. I mean, Bristol, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and now we're at North Wilkesboro. I mean, it's going to be a fun season watching these guys in these trucks and see who can come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. This is already turning up to be a good season. We know this so far, and you click through some of these guys out there qualifying here. This is probably going to be a track where you want to actually, probably start up front. It'll probably keep you out of most of the action towards the back, as we see we have AJ DiMarzio right now out there with the best time so far, and he was very quick in practice. I believe Nick Rader actually did have the fastest time in practice, but this is going to be something where these guys are going to want to probably qualify up towards the front and see if they can't, get up there near the pole and, try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, you could see the leader here tonight get a pretty sizable gap on the rest of the field, possibly. Draft will not come into play here. It's all going to come down to the guy that can get the truck set in the corner with a good braking point and a good drive off. Too much throttle here, and you're going to spin the rear line.
Yep, as we
These
just
trucks are super high horsepower.
yeah, we just saw the 88 of Nick Radar come down at the corner there. As you just mentioned, just too much throttle. Back end kicked around on him. He caught a little bit of the wall. And, that's going to, obviously not hurt him because, ladies and gentlemen, he's your current pole sitter right now. But, he had a good first lap, and that's what you need. A good first lap will keep you, in the hunt. And, these guys they're wrapping up their qualifying. We're going to go green for hopefully, 100 laps. We're probably going to, I would say we're going to see a couple of cautions here tonight. But, folks, welcome on in. If your first time here, head on over to Evolution Racing Network on Facebook and YouTube. Give us a like, and let's go to work. We'll be right back with your starting lineup after our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Welcome back in, sim racing fans. 100 laps tonight will determine who we will see a new winner. These guys this is going to be a battle of attrition, as I want to call it. And we're just going to have to see what happens. Well, let's go down to your starting lineup for tonight's race here at North Wilkesboro. Starting on the pole, the 88 of Nick Rader on his outside, the 5, AJ DiMarzo. Row number 2 to 13 of William Roberts. On his outside will be the 21 of Carlos Ramos. Row number 3, the 9 of William George, and the 99 of John Kay has got a win on the season already. Row number 4 will have Andrew Hefner in the 46 and George Rincon in the 28. Michael, take us the rest of the way. I'll grab for Michael. Starting in 9th will be the 98 of Cornelius Brown. In 10th will be the 14 of Doug Argabright. I don't know if we said that right. 11th in the 24, Ernest King. In the 19 truck, Randy Coaching, he'll start 12th. 13th will be Mike Everidge in the 82, followed by Robert Duryea in the 42. And finally, in our final row tonight, we'll have the 64 of David Connell and the 7 of Robert DuPont. And this is going to be one of those races where it's going to be fun. Sorry about that, folks. We had a little bit of microphone issue. We are back, and sorry, you guys. Everybody missed the starting lineup because I wasn't aware my mic was working. But we are back, And Michael, we're about to go green on this thing, and 100 laps here. I mean, it should be a quick race, but I think we are gonna see some cautions in this race. So far, this is, I think, the biggest field we're gonna see here tonight, and it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be definitely a fun race. You may see some. I know the drivers aren't hoping for any. I'm, sure the fans are hoping for not too many cautions. See how this thing plays out.
Right, as we are green here from North Wilkesboro, AJ DiMarzio and Nick Radar, they're going to battle each other for that lead, try to lead that first lap. The 88 of Nick Radar is going to come out of turn 4. He will lead the first lap here, and these guys are going to battle hard. And it's going to allow the group behind them, who have already kind of single filed out, to kind of really get up there and challenge these guys.
14 just spun. Got a spinner, and the 14 just spun.
The 14 is. We're going to have
hard to break.
And we are under our first caution here tonight, folks, and we're going to see if we can't get to a replay and see if we could find that for you guys. Just coming a little bit too much throttle, honestly. It didn't look like anybody really got into him. Just a little too much throttle just coming out of the turn there. Yeah, as there was nobody around him. He did get hit once he was sideways, but just a little bit. These tires are still green. These guys are still settling in, and that's something we're gonna have to keep an eye on here tonight.
Yeah, and breaking points so early in the run, you're still trying to figure out where the guys in front of you are braking compared to you. Other drivers, you may be a consistent braker, meaning you'll stay on the brakes at one pressure the entire time. The guy in front of you could be a heavy initial braker and slowly let off, or vice versa, brake lightly and more of a heavy towards the center of the corner. So you've got to figure out, and it takes a little bit of time to see how everybody in front of you is setting the pace and where their points are. And unfortunately, that's one of the signs. You're on the high side. You've got to move down to the bottom. You weren't quite ready to brake yet, and that's unfortunately one of the side effects of it.
Yeah, as we're probably going to, especially if we get cautions mid race and definitely towards the end, where guys are they're going to be excited. They're not going to be thinking about that. They're going to be thinking about hey, I want to get out there and I want to lead this thing and try to get a win. But you got to remember that these tires are going to be called on these restarts.
Yeah, and the more restarts you get, the more heat cycles get built up on the tires. The tires going from hot to cool, back to hot again, is going to affect the tire wear. Yeah,
absolutely. As lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car, so we are going to be going green this time around here. And we've seen AJ was able to grab the lead from Nick Radar, but I mean these guys were battling tooth and nail here for the first couple laps, and I don't think that's the end of that battle here tonight for sure.
You're going to see some battling early all throughout the field, till they start getting single file and getting the pace set.
And man, AJ on the throttle hard as soon as that pace car ducks down on the pit road. And that's kind of what you got to do here at a track like that. But honestly, didn't really fool Nick too much. He got a good jump as well. They both launched really well.
Yeah, they both had a good launch. It looked like Nick was trying to get a little peek to the inside there in the first corner, but looks like AJ is going to get out front and kind of set the pace early. And you're going to see different lines for him. As now you see Radar kind of running them.
As we got trouble on the backstretch. The 21 of Carlos Ramos and the 9 get into it, and that is going to bring out our second caution. And, oh, man, we're going to have to go back, folks, and try to see if we can't get another look at that, because that was, we happened to just switch right live to it as it happened. Let's see if we can't get a better look. The 21 comes out, and the 9 gets into the quarter panel of the 21, collects the 9, hard, the 82 of Mike Everidge, hard contact, the 14 who was involved in the self-spin already. So we already have multiple damaged trucks out there, and this is going to be couple guys we're going to see down on pit road right now getting some damage fixed, and hopefully they could get back out on track. But folks, while these guys are under pace and getting their pit stops in, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, folks, we're back here live from North Wilkesboro. We are under our second caution here tonight. Between the 9 and the 21, Carlos Ramos, and the 9 of William George get tangled up there. On the backstretch, collects a couple of different guys, and this is something we're going to see tonight. These guys, it's tight racing around here. Yeah, there's multiple grooves, but this is a very small racetrack, Mike, where these guys kind of have to, a little bit of give and take. It will probably go a long way in this race, but definitely some tight quarters tonight.
I believe green tires, and that looked just like a racing incident. They were both going for the same piece of real estate and having to be going at the same time. And like I said earlier, green tires is early in the run. Everybody's still trying to figure out where they want to run, and the speeds are going to be a little higher right now. So once things start to settle out, I think you'll start to see the lines form, either the top side or the low side. I'm curious to see which side's going to pay off, in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. As the 88 of Nick Rader on that restart, Mike, just launched it. I mean, AJ DeMarjo's the control car on that restart, and the 88 of Nick said, I'm going to time you right, and I'm going to go, and that's exactly what he did there.
That's a very hard thing to do, especially when you're not the leader. The leader usually is going to get that huge jump because he's going to decide when it's time to go. You time it right and well executed, it pays off, but it's a very rare occasion to see it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got a tight battle here between the 13 William Roberts and the 5 AJ DeMarzo right here, and that's going to be for third right now.
Yeah,
we are under
piled
caution. We've got another incident on the track. Let's see if we can't take a look at this and see if we can't figure out what happened. Oh, the 14 slides up, collects the 42. The 28 is involved. And that you know what? That is just one of those things where maybe a little too hard into the corner, maybe, possibly. And
he just appeared to be carrying a little too much speed in there to get it checked up and get it turned down.
Yeah, let's go back and let's hop on in the cockpit cam. This is you're riding on board with the 14 right now. And just maybe a little too hard into the corner. That's something that, he'll be able to, I think he may have already used a fast repair for the race, because I think that's the second or third incident we've actually seen him involved in. That's something you could take, and build from on, future tracks, especially these short tracks where it's a lot of on the gas, on the brake, really having to slow the truck down to get it through the turns. So that's something that he could probably really build on. But that will put us under caution here once again, folks. And, I don't want to call it scrappy, Mike, because it really isn't. This is a track where, we know that it carries a lot of speed, but also, this is a track where you come to, and it's not a track that's run. It's very often. It's a track where you want to come in here and get a win.
Yeah, everybody wants to get a win at legendary North Wilkesboro. That's definitely a bucket list item. I'm hoping one day they bring this track back. I know there's a huge effort right now to bring it back in the real world, and I hope we see it again. I mean, this track over the many years in the NASCAR series put on some great races. I mean, almost 50 years here they ran. So I'd love to see it come back, and I'm grateful iRacing, they put all the time and the work in to scan this track and get it out here for all these young drivers that maybe they never saw the track, when it was actually a NASCAR circuit, and get to experience a little bit of history.
Right, exactly. And I'll mention this as a little side note. When iRacing scanned this track, they scanned it in the 1987 condition, which is really cool. They didn't wait till 96 when they stopped racing here. This is the 1986 laser scan version that is put into the sim, and it's in incredible shape. It's such a fun track to run. We're starting to see it run more and more here, especially when you put the 87s out there. I mean, that's a fun race to watch as the iRacing.com pace car is on pit road, and the 88 Nick Radar is on the gas, and away he goes. We're back under green.
Yeah, it's another great restart there. Outside lane is carrying some momentum there. We'll see how that pays off later in the run. See if maybe the leader decides to go.
As we
on the
have
high
trouble, the 99 of John Kaya, and we will be under caution again here, folks. We're going to see what happened there, as that 99, he was hauling the mail. He's going to be heading to the garage right now to get some repairs done, that's for sure. Let's see if we can't go back and take a look at that, see what happened.
Yeah, it looks like the 98 and the 99 got together there. It looks like the 98 was just carrying a little bit more speed in the corner than the 99 was. Got into his rear just a little bit, enough to spin him around.
Yeah, as we see another incident, the 42 involved, and that's Robert Duryea, and another, and that's the thing here, Michael, is when, especially if you're down towards the back of the field, where it's wreck avoidance is just, it's critical, but it is awful difficult. That is for sure.
Yeah, it's a gamble whether you're up front or you decide to try to lay back. It depends on where the incident occurs and where you're at. Sometimes you have a stretch of bad luck where it just seems you can't get around an incident. Sometimes you're lucky enough that it happens, either behind you or you're able to squeeze by every time. It's a gamble whether you're up front or you're in the back, So I think once this gets settled out and they'll get some good green flag runs in here, you're going to see a change in pace, and you're going to start to see, like I said earlier, those lines really form, and you'll see where their speed's coming, high side or low side.
Yeah, absolutely. This is turning into a fun race. Obviously we are seeing some cautions, and you're going to. I mean, this is just a track similar to a race at Martinsville or the race we saw here 2 weeks ago from Bristol, where we're gonna see some cautions. We're gonna see tight racing. We're seeing that already. And this is a track where you could run around with aero damage as long as your motor's intact. You could still get away with some of that damage. So as long as these guys could keep the motor clean, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, like you said, as long as you don't have any radiator or cooling damage, I think a couple dents here and there is not going to hurt your truck in the long run. Thing like here tonight is you're gonna want to finish as best you can. Of course, every week you want to get that W, but with a beat up truck, you don't have the truck, or you've already used your fast repair. You just gotta to focus on capitalizing, getting the positions you can get, and bringing home and focus ahead. All right, let's go back to the shop. Let's get it ready, and let's go after it again next week.
Yep. As the iRacing.com pace car is on pit road, the 88 Nick Radar is on his way, and I'll tell you what, Nick is really good out there, and If I'm the 88 truck, obviously it's still early in the race. We're only on 27 laps into this thing, but he's itching for a win, Mike. I mean, running up there every week, and he's a driver that is itching to get that truck in victory lane.
Yeah, every race this season he's been in contention.
As we got a
Every
self
race.
spin, the 19, which I believe is Randy coaching. I believe that's going to be a self spin, and we're going to take a quick peek at that. See, coming down the front stretch, heading into turn 1. And
Looked like a little contact there between
little,
the 19 and
little
28.
bit of contact. A smidge of contact sends the 19 around, and we will be under caution once again from North Wilkesboro. And that's the thing about this track is, going into the turns, it's so tight. You could probably run 2 to 3 grooves here, but man, it's tight, and just a smidge of contact with these Camping World Series trucks, and bang, around they go.
You're carrying so much speed here in corner entry. It's really hard to get the truck braked to start that turn and get the weight transfer to the front. That's why I was curious to seeing earlier was, is anybody going to be downshifting, trying to get that weight planted on the front of the truck to try to help get it turned, towards the entry to the center of the corner and just let it ride and drive off. The hard part here is corner entry, getting that truck settled, getting that truck starting to turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is turning into a race where guys that have, gotten into early trouble and, maybe lost a lap, they're really capitalizing on, some of these cautions because, every time there's a caution flag, one driver does get what is known as a lucky dog, which is a wave around the field to get a lap back. So some of these guys, cashing in early, putting themselves back on the lead lap. So these early cautions are helping some of these drivers out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see when the leaders will decide to come down and get that, that second set of tires. They're probably going to try to wait a little while, see if they get a little bit of a green flag going here. Just because right now track position is key. This is going to be that track that later on the run, track position under a restart is going to be key. If everybody comes in the pits, everybody's on fresh tires, that position will make a huge difference. I'm sure green tires are going to make, a set of fresh tires versus older tires are going to be huge here. But a late restart, you're going to want to have 4 fresh ones if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, looking here at some of the boards, there's really only a handful of guys, your top 4, and I want to say one other guy, or the only guys that haven't brought in the truck down to pit road. So your lead pack here, the guys who have, been able to keep the truck somewhat clean here so far, are really your only guys that haven't been down on pit road. And that is a great question. When do we see these leaders come down? They're definitely going to want to save a set for later in the race. But they should have plenty of tires, especially we're spending a lot of time under caution here tonight. As green flag is back out, Nick Rader, good launch, but I'll tell you what, the 46 Andrew Hefner said, hey, I'm coming too now, buddy.
Yeah, and if you continuously do the same thing over and over, the guy's going to end up catching you. Meaning if you jump right when the pace truck hits the pit lane, then the guy's going to learn to expect that. If you see a pattern, they're going to pick up on it quick. You got to keep them guessing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As we just had a near miss right there between the 19 Randy coaching, the 9 of William George, running very, very close to each other. Thankfully, we were able to get through that without any incident, and some I'll tell you what, there's, obviously some good battles up in the front, but this is where the racing's at right here, is out, mid to the back of the pack here. These guys are running each other hard trying to get up through the field.
Yeah, they're running each other hard, trying to get their positions. It's all shuffled up from a couple cautions, and once they get in their position, everybody will get more single file. You'll start to see people pull away a little bit. and that mid pack racing is allowed uh, Nick and Andrew to just pull away from the rest of the pack right now.
Yeah, as you could see, I mean, besides them running pretty close, they're about, I want to say a half a second between the two, and then back to third, you're looking at about 2.8 seconds. So they have definitely got this figured out, and these are two guys that they probably want to see some green flag runs, develop here because I think they feel like they have two good trucks out on the track, and they want to start pulling away from the rest of this field.
Yeah, the battle right now looks like it's going to be for third. I mean, you've got George Rincon with the space, AJ, who looks like he's going to take it away right now on the inside, and don't kind of the 98 of Cornelius Bryan. He's right there in the mix as well, and these guys are going to shuffle a little bit as the run goes on. Who's burning the stuff up early? Who's taking care of their stuff?
Right, right. You're exactly right. And when you get locked in these battles, for a couple laps side by side, that's exactly what you're doing is burning the tires up. And you don't want to concede positions all race long, but at the same time, you can't be burning your tires up like crazy either. So this a lot of give and take. We know that these races are tough, and you got to have a little bit of discipline and just be smart, when you're out on the racetrack.
Yeah, you got to kind of set that guy up. You want to get by him as quick as you can, and hopefully, the guy's thinking, well, I'm just going to let him go now. I'll worry about catching him later. I mean, you're still, you know, inside of halfway, 42 out of 100. So still plenty of time left to make the moves, and you'll see some changes as the 98 just gets loose coming off turn 4.
Yeah, the 98 Cornelius Browning is going to bring the caution out here, and we're going to go back and take a look, give you guys a little bird's eye view of what transpired this latest caution. As you see, just comes out of the corner, and yeah, the thing just gets loose, gets really hard into that inside retaining wall. I mean, that's going to be a case of, definitely probably going to have to tow that thing back to pit road, and hopefully he hasn't used his fast repair for tonight and is able to, get that truck fixed. As, we mentioned it already, we do have the 88 Nick Rader coming down pit road. He's got AJ DeMarzo with him, or excuse me, no. AJ has already pit, and now we've kind of see everybody besides the 28 of George Rincon is the only one that has not pit yet in this race. So everybody, looking to settle the score, get fresh tires on. Nick now is gonna, he's gonna start from, kind of back of the pack. Let's see how he could manage getting through this traffic.
Yeah, he's gonna have to definitely take his time getting through this traffic. He wants to get back up towards the front. I think his strategy was go ahead and take a set, maybe take another set. If they get another caution in lap 75 to 80, I'd say take one, and then you save that last set if you get that late race caution. But AJ pitting earlier is really paid off for him. Now he's going to be on the front row leading the field off to the green flag here. So he probably want to try to gauge and get as much distance out as he can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's a good strategy. It's kind of hard to tell early on what the correct strategy is going to be going forward with this race. But we're approaching the halfway point as we see the 98 have an incident under caution, gets into the grass and spins out, and I don't know if AJ was able to clip him there, but something you don't see every day, folks.
No, it's something you don't see every day, and it looks like AJ got through pretty cleanly there. Just clipped that grass, and these trucks, on the track. And what I was going to say earlier was just these trucks with this high horsepower and these gear sets, they do any wheel you've got in the truck. If you're still got any left wheel in it, and you get in the gas, you've got to be careful. We always say, try to keep that wheel as straight as possible when you're in the throttle, because that right rear will catch and just jerk, snap the truck right around on you.
Yeah, and lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car, and we will see AJ DeMarzo get on the gas, and a little bit of a different look this restart. We've seen the 88 Nick Rader up there all night, and AJ will get his chance at a restart, and he does a fine job getting a very nice launch, and that'll put a little bit of a gap between him and the 13 of William Roberts.
Yeah, and you got John Kay looking to come in on the inside there, fighting for the third position. The good battle there
Trouble.
between third and sixth.
We got one loose, and I think he's going to be able to hold it. We are not under caution here. So was able to save the truck. That was a close call right there. And yeah, the 19 and the 28 are kind of working each other over here for that third spot. So that is our closest battle right here out on the track, and it's shaping up to be a good one. These guys aren't nobody's really they're giving each other some space, but nobody wants to concede that spot just yet.
No, it's going to be a tight battle here and you might see it go 3 wide in a minute between the 98, the 28, and the 19 here. Looks like Kay is going to be able to get by and get a little bit of gap. Now the 19 is going to be working to the inside of the 28, trying to get that position.
Yeah, the 19.
We got a little contact.
Ooh, contact, and we got trouble behind it. It's the 88 of Nick Rader. Oh, we talked about it. Would he be able to get up through the traffic? And the answer is not yet. And we're going to go back to that because I want to see what happened there, and I'm sure everybody else does. The 88, fresh tires, so he's moving up through the field. A little bit of contact there, and him and the I want to say
like the 7.
The 7 of Robert DuPont. They kind of. I kind of would, almost if I was, down race control, that almost looked like a racing incident to me, where Nick's kind of sliding up, coming out of the corner.
I'm sorry, that was a 9 of William George.
Yeah, the 9. Yes, we apologize. They kind of just bang into each other, and hopefully we see the 14. That Nesquik truck has been taking a beating here tonight, but thankfully for Nick, I believe still has a fast repair, but I'm sure he had to tow it down to pit road, so he is definitely going to lose some ground here from that one.
Yeah, it looked like everybody was checking up. They saw what was going on in front, and if you're carrying a little more speed than the other guy, you're not going to be able to turn. And that's the thing, checking up when you got something going on in front of you. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we want to take this opportunity right now to let you guys know that the three wide racing eSports leagues brought to you by DeMarzo Gears, 661-212-3389. You need race car gears. You need rear ends for your race car. Give DeMarzo Gears a call. They're the best in the business. AJ DeMarzo take care of you, and he's taking care of most of the field right here tonight, Michael. As we see, we are under caution, but he holds on to the lead right now, and we are past the halfway point in this race.
Yeah, a little pit strategy, and the way the cautions fell out, he was able to get his way up, to the number 1 spot. But look at the 99. John Kay was able to come back. He's sitting in second. He's going to be starting on the outside.
Yeah, the 99. We've seen him, notch a win on the season so far. AJ with 2 wins on the season. Those are your 2 guys with a number in the win column there. And these guys are going to battle each other hard. And the way we've seen this race kind of shape up is, nobody's safe out on the track. So, I mean, if you're sitting back, if you're Randy coaching, you're Ernest King, up 7 spots from the start of this thing, you're like, hey, nobody is safe in this race until I believe the checkered flag falls.
Yeah, and it looks like Nick Rader is still sitting on pit road right now. So, He probably had a tow. He's sitting there waiting for the towing to get completed. It looks like he had some major engine damage, so he probably had to tow to pit road to get that repair done.
Yep, as we can see, he is back out of the pits right now, and he will have some work to do for sure. As you know, now it is, he's going to be multiple laps down, Mike, and he's just, this is a very important test for him, I think, where, yeah, he's got some work to do, but you
Yeah,
can't.
see that single file restart there, and AJ's pulling away right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see that, guys. If this is something, iRacing or any type of racing, honestly, is something new. The admins of the league can call for single file restarts. You usually see that when you get a bunch of cautions mixed up, try to clean some of the racing in. So we're gonna have to see if that single file is something that's going to hang around, or if it was just a one and done type of deal.
Yeah, one of the famous terms that you always hear in NASCAR, we see it in iRacing, is cautions breed cautions. It's just you get used to a faster pace, and then everything slows down.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see. But I mean, even though we've had our fair share of cautions here tonight, this race, we're still seeing a lot of close racing, and we're still seeing, a majority of, really, there's three guys that are down on pit road, so we still see a majority of the trucks still out on track. We do see some guys that are, multiple laps down. But for the most part, these guys are still out here hanging in tough and just trying to tick some laps off.
Yeah, and the tendency tonight is that battle's been for third. You just saw Andrew Hefner pass for the third position, and you got William Roberts who also came by Randy coaching to take the fourth spot away. So, from the battles we've seen heating up tonight, the biggest battle looks like it's been for the third position most of the night.
Yeah. I mean, the leaders have been able to kind of get out and stretch a little bit of a lead. And,
Don't look now, but the 46 of Hefner is on his way trying to battle for second here. He's had a fast truck all night long.
Yeah, absolutely. That 46 Andrew Hefner, the Jags the truck out there, the Chevy Silverado, I believe. He's working on the 99 right now, looking to the inside as they come out of turn 4. And this is where the battle's been, and it looks like he's going to clear him pretty easily there. And there's no one more that enjoys seeing the battles behind them than the 5 of AJ DiMarzo.
Yeah, the more he sees battles there for the second position, the further he's going to be able to gap the field. But the 46 cleared, and Hefner looks like he's got his sights set on getting that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is. Folks, he's closing the gap, and, he pit on lap 54 as opposed to AJ pitting on lap 29, so definitely has fresher tires than mostly everybody else. So he's going to track down that 5, and we'll see if we could have a lead change coming up here in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, might see a lead change, and then the pit strategy is going to come into play because wins at 5, and the other trucks that are sitting out there on 25 lap older tires. When are they planning on pitting, and what's going to happen during that time period? I mean, pitting under green here is going to cost you some time, but I'm curious to see how much time it can be made up, with green tires versus older tires. You see it right now with the 46 running down the 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has that lead was about 1.2 seconds just about 3 or 4 laps ago, and he's got it down to a half a second lead right now as a small little connection issue out of the 46. But he seems to have that under control, and yeah, he's hunting down that 5 truck. He wants a little piece of the action to get out there and lead a few laps in this thing.
Yeah, his lap times have consistently been better. 2/10, 3/10 quicker last couple laps. Last lap by they were 0.03 difference between first and second. So, not sure how long those fresh tires are gonna be dominant if you're eating them up. So let's see what happens in the next 10, 15 laps. I mean we've got 29 to go, coming to 28 right here.
Right, as we see the 46 gets a little bit of tail loose coming out of turn 4 there, as he did put that truck on the inside of AJ, was able to gather it back up, and honestly didn't really lose much, but he will have to settle back in and try to get that lead, here in a different turn, and just try to be a little bit easier on the throttle coming out of the corner.
Yeah, AJ is gonna try to stay on that high side, get that better drive off, force the 46 to stay towards the bottom, which is gonna not give him all the track to drive up for that run off. And if it gets in the gas too hard, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna spin that rear end loose. And, a lot of tracks, the higher line later in the run on older tires is where you want to be, because you're gonna be able to control the pace of that truck trying to pass you on the bottom, of how quick he's going to be able to get in that gas and get that drive off.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, Andrew Hefner he's keeping it right there with him, which is going to give the chance to William Roberts to kind of gain a little ground on these guys. He pit on the same lap as Andrew Hefner did, so he pit on lap 54. So they're looking at the same kind of tire strategy, and that's going to help him too with these guys battling up here. He's going to close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, last time by he was a tenth quicker than first and second, as they're battling for the lead right now, and that's one thing he wants to see sitting back in third. Is watch them battle for the lead, let them burn their tires up, and that gives him a chance to close in, and he's able to keep his tires a little bit fresher. He may have something for him in the end here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got 23 laps to go, you guys watching on Facebook and YouTube, go ahead, slap in the chat. Who do you like in this thing? Will we see AJ DeMarzo be a three-time winner? Will we see the 46 Andrew Hefner, or even the 13? And don't count out that 99 of John Kaya just yet. He's hanging back there in fourth.
Yeah, with 22 to go, it's still anybody's race. It's too early to call. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, who's to say caution flies and pit strategy is going to come into play? Who's got that extra set?
Right, as we just saw a lap ago, the 46 Andrew Hefner was able to grab that race lead away from AJ DeMarzo with 21 laps to go. Better tires, sure. Is he going to be able to stretch that lead out a little bit and maybe drive this thing in the victory lane? But you made a good point, Mike, that a caution is probably what AJ might want to see, a caution, because he's on old tires. But if you're the 46 of Andrew Hefner, or even the 13 of William Roberts, on the same tire strategy, I think you want to see this thing stay green.
Yeah, he wants to see it stay green. I mean, he's a tenth quicker right now, last lap by, so he wants to see it stay green, and he wants to see those two guys battle it out again at the front, because Hefner's taking the lead, and it looks like he's pulling away a little bit.
Yeah, he's got that thing up to about 0.6 of a second, gaining a little bit each lap, and I think he's feeling pretty comfortable right now. He's probably got the truck's probably handling pretty good for him, as you see, he just keeps growing that lead little by little, and it's too bad that we've seen the beginning to the mid part of this race, the 88 Nick Rader be pretty much straight up dominant, leading most of that portion of the race, gets caught up in that wreck, and the cautions just stop. So a guy like him's not even benefiting from getting a couple of wave rounds and trying to get him back up there. And he's scoring 4 laps down right now because he had to tow, and it's just an unfortunate event for him.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate event for him, and right now, I mean, the battle right now is for 6 between George Rincon and Carlos Ramos. I was watching him last couple laps, and Carlos is trying to run that bottom line. He's just not able to get the drive off. You'll see him close up on the 28, and he's trying to get that run on the inside. He just can't complete the pass. He'll fall back down behind him and get a good run again. And, it's going to come down to the last closing laps. If he can plant that power at the bottom of the track, he might be able to take that 6th spot. But the way the 28's running the high side right now is holding him off.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. That's where you're getting your big drive off is running running that higher line. You could get back in the throttle a lot earlier and not have to worry about sliding up and hitting nobody. As we see, the 46 will put the 19 of Randy coaching 1 lap down. So if we do get a caution, it will benefit the 19 right now. He will be the first truck scored 1 lap down. As we've got 13 laps to go, folks, hang on. We're doing pretty good here. We've this is our longest green flag stint of this race, and it's been exciting. It's really showed what pit strategies have paid off, and guys like Andrew Hefner and the 13 of William Roberts. Who is working on the 5 of AJ DeMarzo right now. That pit strategy, kind of just riding it out, getting your tires late is really paying off for these guys.
And the 99 John K is coming
yikes.
back in the picture. 3 wide here, tight pinch.
Oh,
Trying to get
wow.
by that lap truck.
Trying to get by the lap truck of Randy coaching. I don't know how those guys made it through there, but they did. And, the 13 probably had to use more tire, and I'm probably sure he may have closed his eyes for a second there, and he's going to try to get a little bump from the 99 there, try to push him on by AJ, as these guys are jostling, but at the same time, these guys are battling. Take a look, Andrew Hefner over a 3-second lead right now, so he loves what he's seeing in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, William Roberts was able to get by, but here comes Kea. They're battling for those final podium positions.
Yeah, I mean, this is, John has a win on the year, but you still got to finish strong, and he's going to take a look to the inside as they come out of turn 4 and go back down into turn 1, and he's going to take a look to try to get into that second spot.
And if you're Andrew Hefner right now looking at review, you're happy to see that going on behind you because he's just able to set sail now. Is John Kea is going to take the second position.
Yeah, John Kea able to make the pass on William Roberts. And, this is 7 laps to go, and Andrew Hefner.
John Kea
Trevor!
gets loose coming out.
John Kea, trouble coming out of turn number 2.
See if he can get it back on the track, and he's able to get it back on the track. No caution.
Back on the track, no caution. And I'll tell you what, for Andrew Hefner, there's nothing, you might as well go play the lottery tonight because a caution right there would have really hurt.
Yeah, a caution there would have tightened the field back up. Tires, everybody would have gone to try to get tires, and as a leader, you pit this close? You kind of have to, and then the pressure comes to, can you get off pit road first, and who's going to take the gamble and stay out, and all that anticipation is going to build up, and it adds to frustrations, and so he's wiping his forehead off right now because that's a big sigh of relief. The caution didn't come out right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it sure could have. The 99 John Kea was able to get it back on track in time. That will end, his chances at a run for a podium spot tonight. That did drop him back to 7th. He's still on the lead lap, so he's going to end up with a top 10 finish here tonight. But the story right now with 4.5 second lead. Coming to take popsicle sticks, 2 to go for Andrew Hefner in what has been a wild ride, in all facets of the race. We've seen, a handful of cautions. We've seen tight battles. We've seen great restarts. We've seen, a guy that has been dominant end up getting, caught up in a wreck and taking him out of the race, as Andrew Hefner will take your Smart Way Remodeling and More LLC white flag here at North Wilkesboro. Andrew Hefner's got half a track to go, and he is going to grab his first win of the year.
Yeah, that pressure is going to be off his back, and he can sit and ride for the rest of the season and focus on trying to get the next win.
Yeah, absolutely, as Andrew Hefner will take the checkered flag here tonight. And you know what? I think he's going to be excited to talk to us. I can't wait for it. Coming home in second will be the 13 of William Roberts, and slotting in the final podium position. He's becoming to be very consistent in this league. Is the 5 AJ DiMarzio, coming off a win last week, gets a podium finish here tonight, and he'll give his buddy Andrew a little bump. Say good battle out there tonight. You had the strategy. It paid off, and that's really what it came down to, Michael. Andrew had the strategy, and it came at the right time because we stayed green the remainder of the race.
Yeah, the strategy paid off. AJ had a good strategy, got up front early, after that caution, was able to capitalize, getting off to the front. But we saw the 46 all night long, being able to make that run in the second position. Just didn't have, I don't think he had enough green flag laps to make it stick. And I mean, it was an exciting race. I mean, William Roberts coming up all the way to second there in the last 20 laps. It was very exciting. Some ups and downs for some drivers, and it doesn't go your way, then you just got to shake it off and get ready for next week. Get prepared. Let's go do it all again, and practice, and look for better results next week.
Right, absolutely. As we see Andrew Hefner continue to burn it down. We're going to get a chance to talk to him post-race. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with your top 3 finishers.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, race fans, we've seen 100 laps come and gone here at North Wilkesboro Speedway for what I thought was a pretty fun race. And let's go ahead and let's get some interviews underway. First on the table, the driver of the number 5 truck, last week's race winner, coming home in third tonight, AJ DiMarzio. Hey AJ, this is Steve and Mike up in the year-end booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing all right, AJ. Coming off a win last week, Canadian Tire, and coming in here and being consistent, staying. We've seen a lot of cautions, able to keep out of trouble, and you walk away with a third place finish. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through that race? What was it like for you? Dealing with some of the cautions and all different sorts of pit strategy.
I think that's what got me in the end was the pit strategy. I should have came in that last time when they did, because I had about 10 laps more on my tires, and I think it was a handful the last 10 laps. But all in all, it was a good race. Congratulations to Andrew and Will, and just trying to stay consistent, and that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're showing this early part of the season that you're here to, either run up in the front with the boys or grab some race wins. Now, we go to another short track next week in Martinsville. What do you take from a race like this and, kind of translate it as we go to the paperclip now? Another short track, same sort of type of track. But what do you take from North Wilkesboro and taking to Martinsville?
Actually, absolutely nothing. They're two completely different beasts. Martinsville, I think you got a little more bite than you do here. Here, it's just that the truck plows all through the center, then it's loose off, and it's really tough to drive and keep the tires under it for the whole race. But I don't know. We'll see. I run good on other divisions there. I've never raced a truck there, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we let you go, AJ, celebrate this third place finish. You want to give any shout outs?
Yeah, DeMarzo's Gears, 3 wide for putting the deal on, and you guys for putting on the show for us. It's you guys do an awesome job, and congratulations again to the winner in second place. And see you guys next week.
Absolutely, AJ. Well, go ahead and enjoy that third place finish. We'll see if we can catch up with you next week at Martinsville.
See you guys. Thanks.
All right, that was your third place finisher, the driver of the number 5, AJ DeMarzo. And we've mentioned it. Consistency will pay huge dividends in this league, Mike. And so far, he's shown that he could do that.
Yeah, he's been consistently front runner, if not top 5 every week in and out. He's always showing he's there at the end when it counts.
Absolutely. All right, let's grab our second place finisher. The 13, William Roberts, is down trackside with Michael Sheffield.
Hey, Will, this is Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Y'all got me?
Yeah, I got you now. I couldn't hear you first. So, kind of up and down night for a lot of people here, but you were able to bring that Exalta number 13 RKR Motorsports Chevrolet second place. I know it's, one position short of ultimately where you wanted to be. You had some tough battles there, for the second place battle there towards the end. How was the truck tonight, and how were you feeling coming into this?
Yeah, I was feeling okay about it. Not as good as I feel about Martinsville next week, but yeah, it was tough to pass, especially if you didn't get it on a restart. Once you got to the top few guys, AJ and Andrew and Nick was really fast too. Those guys were tough. I knew once the 46 got by me on that last restart, um, I knew I was racing for second at that point, based off practice. So, yeah, I was happy with second. I wish it would have been a little cleaner at the beginning, but yeah, the last run was pretty fun though. I had a good time, that's for sure.
Well, North Wilkesboro is one of those tracks. It's always tough. We saw it early, green flag runs. These trucks carry a lot of speed in the corners, and I was curious, coming into this, was anybody going to be using any downshifting, trying to get that truck set in the corner. You had some good speed, like I said, late in the run there. Just, like you said, you had some early cautions, and you kind of expect this. And next week is Martinsville, as you hinted to, and it's a different beast. It's more of a flat track. You got the concrete and the asphalt. How comfortable are you prepared for Martinsville, and what do you expect out of that race next week?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks on here. Honestly, if I don't win next week, I'll be pretty disappointed. To be honest, but hopefully we can get enough practice time in with everyone and clean it up a little bit. Don't have to worry about that washing up off the banking or anything like that, running into guys on the outside of you like you do here at North Wilkesboro. So yeah, hopefully everybody just understands when somebody's got a spot, to regroup and get going instead of trying to, be a hero, and we can get some good laps in and have a good race. So it should be fun though.
Well, I mean, you showed tonight you had great throttle response tonight. This is another one of those tracks. Martinsville's a little different. Some of the same concept. You get in the gas too early, you're going to spin the truck around. But congratulations again on the second place finish tonight. I'm going to give you the booth. If there's, I'll give you the mic there. If anybody wants to shout out, say hello to, the microphone's all yours.
Definitely thanks to everybody who helped put this whole deal together and contribute to that. That's awesome, and enjoy running it, and definitely to the RKR guys. It's a good run, and we'll get them next week.
Okay, well, it was great talking to you. I hopefully get to talk to you again here pretty soon. Great points night for you. And congratulations once again on your second place finish.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, your second place finisher tonight, Michael, and I'm going to grab just a little bit of that excerpt from William there, putting the league on watch that he is coming next week in Martinsville. So he's ready to go to work and try to get himself a win. And everybody wants to hear from him. I know we do. Let's bring him on in here. Hey, Andrew, this is Steve and Mike up in the year-end booth. You got a copy? Andrew Hefner, Steve and Mike up in the year-end booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, man, I got it.
All right, we got you. Your mic's a little bit low, but we'll try to work with you here. You know, the pitch strategy I think really fell into your favor here, especially with a bunch of early cautions. You kind of hung in there, pitted late, and were able to make the pass around AJ. And the battles ensued behind you. You were able to stretch out a big lead. What did that do for you as far as being able to launch you to a win here tonight?
In the early cautions, they played a lot into tire wear. My car really, or truck should I say, really come around lap 30 or so, but we couldn't really get a good run to stretch it out there. And then, of course, I kind of figured when the leader pitted there, I would follow him and the rest of the field would, but it didn't quite work out that way. As y'all seen, a few more cautions ensued. But yeah, man, I'm stoked. I love North Wilkesboro. I hate there were so many cautions for the fans. I know that kind of dampened the show a little bit, but man, I'm stoked.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. And we've seen, a lot of cautions. We were able to, make it through them, but we did see, Nick Rader was very, very dominant in the beginning part of this race, and, had to take a pit stop, got caught up in a wreck there, and kind of ended his chances tonight, which was able, they were able to, launch you up to the front, which, obviously was great. But now going into Martinsville next week, totally different track. I mean, not even on the same spectrum as far as I'm concerned. Now, what do you got to do next week to find yourself, in the same position to go get a race win?
Patience, man. But yeah, Nick and AJ, Will, they were all fast, man. I was kind of wondering what happened to the 88 at the end. I seen him on pit road with about 40 to go, 30 to go, and I was kind of wondering what happened to him. But man, they were all fast, and honestly, I was wondering if we was going to have another caution or how pit strategy was going to play into it. But thankfully, it worked out in my favor. But going on to Martinsville, man, it's just patience. You gotta have patience, give and take, and practice. You can't go in there, the day of and think I'm gonna run with guys that's a second faster and then attempt to and have a good outcome. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to let you go. Crack a beer open, enjoy this win. But before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs?
Yeah, man, I like to thank all the sponsors, Marzo Gears. I'm sure I'll miss a few, Jegs, ERN, Smart Way Remodeling.
Okay, Andrew, we're going to let you head on out of here, and we'll see if we can't catch up with you next week at Martinsville.
All right, man, sounds good. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'm up here again.
Absolutely. All right, that was your race winner, the 46 of Andrew Hefner. And folks, we're going to take a 2-second commercial break here. We're going to get the finishing results ready for you. We'll take a look at next week, and we'll be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, we're back, folks, and we've seen a pretty good race, Mike. 100 laps, beating and banging a little bit, but we've seen guys, that we haven't really called the name yet, and you know, um, Andrew Hefner able to come away with a race win tonight.
Yeah, I noticed early, and we talked about it, on the early restarts. He had a lot of speed early. Just the leader had a great launch. I mean, leader controlling. Unfortunately, it was bad luck for the 88 tonight. Got shuffled around to the back with the pit stop and got caught up in a little trouble, which gave him some engine damage, and unfortunately had to tow to pit road. That kind of put a damper on your night. But I know Andrew there, was worried about caution, worried about caution, worried about caution, especially when you lead. Got a good lead like that, late in the run. That's the last thing you want to see. When that white flag comes out, you give out a sigh of relief because, the next flag ends the race.
Yep, absolutely. And here's our official race results tonight. Coming home with the race win, the 46, Andrew Hefner. William Roberts will slide it home in second. Third, the 5, AJ DeMarzo. And coming home in fourth tonight, the 9, William George. Fifth will be the 21, Carlos Ramos. Sixth tonight will be the 28, George Rincon. Seventh, we seen him get into a little incident, was able to get regrouped, the 99 of John Kaya. And eighth will be the 7 of Robert DuPont. Michael, why don't you take us the rest of the way home?
Finishing ninth is the 42 of Robert Duryea. Finishing 10th is the 19th of Randy Coaching. The 11th is Ernest King in the 24. Nick Radar after the rough caution there, bad spot, bad time. It's going to bring it home 12th in the 88. 13th will go to Doug Argerbright in the 14. 14th will go to David Connell in the 64. 15th will be the 98 of Cornelius Brown. And 16th will be the 82 of Mike Everidge.
And there you have it, folks. That is your official race results from tonight's race. And Mike, before we kick things off to get on out of here, let's take a look at what's coming up. We got another couple interesting weeks here with these guys. Next week we're gonna take to the Paperclip, Martinsville, and then we head to the Charlotte Roval. So still in a very tough part of this track. Before we head back to a mile and a half in Texas in mid-June, we know that these guys could race on short tracks. We've seen it twice. But out of these next two races, which one you got circled?
The Roval is going to be another tough one. And this league is, I can say, is keeping the drivers on their toes. You're not going to know what to expect from week to week. It's always a change of pace. A lot of schedules you'll see, a couple mile and a halves, maybe a short track in between there, or maybe even a 2 mile, or like Michigan, but they definitely short track, road course. It's gonna give, I would say it was gonna help the drivers and that are running the league also kind of round their skills and hone their skills a little bit more, because you're not focused on one type of track. You have to prepare for, in lack of better terms, a plethora of different types of tracks here, and that's what I love about this schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you take a look at these scheduling, like, man, they really bunch a lot of hard tracks, but they're all different tracks. We go short track, road course, short track, road course, and then a mile and a half. But every track is different. I mean, you could throw all these short tracks together, and that's what I love the way these guys did this schedule is, they took a bunch of short tracks and kind of put them all together, but they're all different. They all bring exciting racing, and this is shaping up to be a good season, and we're just gonna have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this every week after every week. I don't know what's going to happen that night. Who's going to go to the top? Who's going to be the strong runner? Who's going to be, who's going to be the surprise? Who's going to come creeping up? I mean, we've seen, you know, a couple guys that have been running up front all season long. But, you know, you got that one guy amongst the 16, 18 trucks. You'll never know who's going to be the strongest driver at what track, and that's what always keeps it entertaining. I mean, we saw the 46 there tonight, early running. He had a fast truck all night long, was able to get it done.
Absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, these guys are putting on a great show. We're having a lot of fun bringing it to you. And if you're out there, if this is one of the first times you've watched us live, head on over to Evolution Racing Network on Facebook and YouTube. Give us a like, hit subscribe, give that bell a little tap. You'll get notified every time we go live, whether it's on here every Tuesday night with the 3 Wide Racing eSports League. We will be presenting a brand new series this week on Thursday, running a double header series. The Thursday night Throwdown League, they run an ARCA series that kicks off in the 8 o'clock hour on the East Coast, and then they run a fixed truck series which will kick off at 9:30. So tune in live this Thursday as we give those guys a little bit of action. And, you know, I'm excited to get that. And we will have the Wallbangers Racing Truck Series Season 2. We'll be kicking off here in about 2 to 3 weeks' time. And Monday nights for Adrenaline Rush Racing League every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Green Flag, they are working through their season as well, bringing you tons of exciting action. And until next time, guys, for Michael Sheffield, I'm Steve Kerpel, and we will see you on the next one.